go. I do believe we're live, so I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. It's always a dear pleasure joining you here in these moments, finding ourselves present again for another conscious evolution, for another opportunity for us to consider you, beloved, and for us to consider are you considering? For us to consider whether or not we're stuck and what that looks like if we in fact are. If I'm stuck, what does that look like? To me, being stuck looks like thinking things or feeling things that does not serve me. Well, sometimes. Being stuck can look like not allowing myself to relax, be calm and be present with what is. Being stuck can feel like uncertainty, like not knowing if you can take a step forward because you don't know what's there. Being stuck today, from a narrative perspective to me, came from the place of insecurity, to say it in so many words. The insecurity that my mind, the ideas therein, and the value that I want to try and create into the world isn't valuable. Right? And it is this battle that I'm fighting within myself that almost has these two narratives, that does this comparative analysis of what I think is valuable and good and commendable, etc., etc. And then I compare myself against that stick, if you will. And I find myself almost like understanding, you know. It's like a being stuck in a kind of understanding. It's like looking at the world and understanding why things are the way they are. Right? That understanding doesn't bring you any comfort. In fact, it can just bring you a sense of, I see. I see how it is. But as soon as you are in that state of, I see how it is, you are technically stuck. A certain type of snapshot happens into your mind. A certain belief becomes formed. And as soon as that belief becomes formed, as soon as that stuck is reached, it's almost like a stability. Right? In the same way we use glue to stick things to other things, make them stuck, because we want it that way. We want them to be stuck. We can, in that same way, want ourselves to be stuck as well. In which way do I want to be stuck? That's a loaded question. I want to be stuck in time while living in the future. That seems like some craziness, but it's true. It is true. What else? I want to be stuck. First thing that came to mind is I want to be stuck being entertained. You know, if I'm going to have that experience of this is awesome, I love this. For instance, today I saw someone use high voltage electricity to convert fog into water droplets, giving us a means to improve the amount of water generation from our fog collectors, kind of vibes. And being there for that experience, it brought me so much giddy, brought me so much excitement for the future in that moment of being entertained by the possibility. Right? It made me think. It made me unstuck in that moment. Gave me the room to think about other things. And in that way, there is a value in both sides. Again, thinking about the stability that being stuck in one narrative can bring. For instance, you being stuck in one narrative can bring you the stability that is safety in numbers. Right? Maybe you're a part of a certain community, and we don't have to put labels on this community, but let's say this community believes a certain set of things, and you are a part of this community because you believe the same set of things. You are stuck believing that set of things indefinitely, unless you are willing to risk the scrutiny of the collective, of that community that you are a part of. Right? And again, in some ways, that stuckness can be good. In other ways, it can be bad. And it is, unfortunately, one of those things that's hard to interpret correctly, perfectly. I'm thinking about how we as people get stuck in I want to almost call it politics, but I think it expands beyond politics into like identity. I think there's even a word called identity politics. Maybe identity politics. And again, this whole being stuck perspective on that. What is my identity in the grand scheme of things? What identity am I trying to maintain? If I had to be honest about that, I'm trying to maintain the identity of someone who is calm, who is capable, who is compassionate and kind, who is hardworking, a problem solver. And I do believe I've been maintaining those traits to the best of my ability, as much as I can. I'm thinking about, again, the way that it must be seen from the other side. Does it look like I'm trying too hard? Does it look like I'm not trying hard enough? What is the correct amount of try? And if I manage to hit the correct amount of try, won't that be a new box for me to be stuck within? You feeling a little stir crazy on the farm. You deserve a festival. I don't even know if I'm feeling stir crazy, Joe. It is a good perspective to bring into my mind for me to consider, in fact. Maybe there's some stir craziness with being on the farm. But I think more than anything, I'm thinking about, again, how we are valued. Right? Thinking about, maybe this is what I'm thinking about especially. I see Kristen is here. Love to you. Zana too. Love you, friends. It's nice having you here. Right? Within this question of identity politics, I'm thinking about how much of what I think of myself actually influences the real world. All right. It's almost like this type of responsibility, self responsibility that I take. That if I was more confident, less insecure about my own capacity and ability to do things, maybe I would have more opportunities and have reached more success. And I don't know if that's helpful either. All right, again, within this narrative of what would have been the right way to do things if the way I've been doing things have not been correct. I think one thing that I have absolutely zero patience for is time and the fact that it takes time for things to develop. Hey, Nancy. It's nice to have you here on a Saturday, friend. Hope you're going to have a good one. Hope you have this moment to usher you into a nice and gentle day. We're considering getting stuck. The thing I'm considering, especially right now, is getting stuck in identity, getting stuck in who I think I am. People, whole swaths of people getting stuck in who they think they're supposed to be, and how the ego gets in the way, wants to keep you stuck in that way because it might feel stable, might feel comfortable, might feel familiar to be stuck in that way. Right? Makes more sense to be stuck than it makes to be unstuck. You have all of this possibility in every direction being unstuck, right? Where you might only have to get to know this one thing if you were stuck to it. And this one thing that you were stuck to in that way is yourself. And I'm not trying to say abandon yourself or dissolve from yourself. No. But we have been suggesting a bunch of different techniques, like just going out a little bit, right? Just taking this self that you are and letting it experience more of the world. In doing so, you do expand the self that the self and the story that might be stuck. You can free yourself just by going outside a little bit, kind of vibes. Just seeing the sky above you. Suddenly less stuck in this. I do feel kind of sleepy, EP. It was nice spending a little moment of our Saturday together. Hey, suddenly I get a bunch of perspective. Dreamtooth says, that is the modern dilemma, the paralysis that comes from an overabundance of choice. It's human psychology, unfortunately. It's true. It's true. No, I get that. I do get that as well. The thing I'm just really curious about is how all of us fall for it, no matter who we are. Maybe that's my own bias, but it just seems like I haven't met anybody, not even myself, that seems immune to the human experience. Seems to get to us all on some level. And again, why is it we're so stuck in this story of perfection, of the infallible, of, right, having a little halo above our heads? Oh, unfortunately. Yeah, Nancy and Dream, bless Kristen. For me, thinking about myself in that regard, I get stuck in thought spirals. Like maybe we are not supposed to think about ourselves too much. Change your location. And altitude might help change perspective. It's true. Failed, baby. What? What's wrong with falling right? Yeah, allowing ourselves failure. Not only that, but I feel one of the things that's a shame about our society is the fact that we have demonized failure to the point that we forgot what society was for in the first place. And society, for me at least, is the support network that's supposed to be able to catch you if you fail. If you try and build some sort of new piece of technology and you fail, right, there should be a society that catches you and takes care of you in that case, tries and helps you get you back on your feet. And you might be like, no, Mel, can't do that. And however, even though that might be a response in me too, I consider the other side of that equation, where if that person risks everything to try and build a piece of technology and instead of failing, it succeeds. And then it makes the world a better place. It makes everybody's lives a better place. In the same way that one person could have made everybody in the world's life a better place, we as everybody in the world should help at least one person to not have the worst life because they tried something that would make the world a better place. Right? And I know that maybe by like a lofty goal, ambitious. How do we make sure? How do we know that the person we're helping actually did try? There are systems, oracles, as artificial intelligent computers and blockchain immutable records will make it so that we can prove uh, beyond reasonable doubt truth. Yeah, it is so. What's wrong with filing? Like I have a bit of depression right now, and I know if I overthink it and force myself to art, it will not go well and make showing up much harder. It's an interesting knowing of yourself you have there, Zano. I'm considering it from the perspective of if you know you can make art when you're feeling emotionally loaded like this, you showing up to do that can create this internal narrative, maybe, that you're supposed to be depressed in order to show up and do your work. And that might reinforce the feeling of depressions, and that reinforcement of the feelings of depression might make it harder for you to do your work. The loops we find ourselves within, the stories we get stuck in. Zana, you did mention depression. Depression is not easy. I'm sorry that you're going through that, dear friend. I do see you rising above it, stronger still. Helpfulness. You can't imagine how helpful. Being helpful. This fly, please, bro. Can you like be anywhere else? Please. The more you think about the stories you're stuck in, the more you think about the stories you're stuck in. When I'm depressed, I can't even look at my art. I go like, what the fuck? Who painted that? You're mean to yourself. Hmm. The way I'm seeing it is the whole beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And the fact that your art is beautiful to you when you're not depressed means that in that way, the beauty that you see in your art is always reflected from inside. I don't know if that necessarily helps in feeling depressed right now, but it still shows that you're the beautiful one. This yoga master says helping others takes you being helped, and neither can you imagine what will render you good. Can you imagine what will render you good? What will render me good? Hmm. Weirdly enough, in my mind, what will render me good is creating a new way to live. That's what I think about. Please, Mr. Fly. I want to create a new way to live. I want to recreate culture. I want to recreate tradition. And not from a perspective of establishing new, right? Like me as a kid growing up, there were very few things that me and the family did together that was made special, right? I was never given stories to get stuck into, right? I grew up in a Christian household, so stories like Christmas Father, Santa Claus, that was like abolished when I was 8 or 7, very young, right? I was like, oh, there is no Christmas Father. Interesting. Yeah, traditions. But then again, would my children just feel stuck again in those traditions and abandon them as soon as they go on to be their own people? Potentially. Still, I posted some drawings in Creative Space. I did a week ago. My tablet is dead right now, but thank you, Zana, for sharing. Right, I feel like a different person. It's okay. It does help because it's a form of witnessing. I think that it's a big step in feeling better to realize you're going to stop doing the mental gymnastics. A little bit more text coming. Stop doing the mental gymnastics to avoid tiring yourself out. Stop doing the mental gymnastics to avoid missing the bar and falling on the ground. Stop doing the gymnastics to avoid finding where it hurts and acknowledge and breathe through it. I don't know if that was the perfect reading of that message, but find where it hurts and acknowledge and breathe through it. Oh. Where does it hurt for me? Hurts for me that there's not many things of significance that I can lean in on. Right? There's not like this trigger word that I can say, like, let's go and do thing. And then all of us, knowing that this is a tradition, once a week we do thing, we go and do thing. I'm stuck thinking about it. I'm here because Melt made special cultural impact during a time of great change. And he daily feeds into humanity. We look and see in this direction. To avoid the sadness, thank you. To avoid the sadness, yeah. Thank you, Dream, the Hoopters, for being here for these moments. You changed me too, friend. You also put nodes of humanity back into me. This is a co-creation after all. I'm happy that we're not stuck. I really do appreciate your friends. This one is Sleepy Sleepies. Making go sleepies. To avoid the sadness. Avoiding the sadness. Yes. When I think. When I think about the sadness, I sadden. When I think about the happiness, I happen. That's not how it works. When I think about you, friends, I happiness. When I happiness think about I friends. Dream Tooth, well said. Maybe I'm deflecting a little bit. I really do appreciate your friends. It's nice having a moment to spend with friends every day like this. It feels rare. It feels like magic. It feels like, wow, I can just have a moment with friends to talk about what's going on in my mind, in my heart, and think about the things that we're stuck in. Think about feeling like I don't necessarily know what to say. And then you friends saying with me, saying things well, even. I appreciate your friends. So thinking about it hurts, but look at it like it's its own entity. And breathe through, doing a wall sit and lifting your toes up and down, cry, shake. Be mad, but don't stop until you are regulated. Mm. Creating balance. Taking a breath with your friends, softly releasing it. I really do appreciate you for joining me again on another day, another opportunity for us to consciously evolve. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have the most enticing, entrancing day, everyone. I wholeheartedly love you all so begurlingly, ineffably, maphesophidic, rhapsodically, bewitchingly, transcendentally, luminously, miraculously, euphorically, wistfully, and poetically. Melt and all of you also enrapturing, mesmerizing, immersive, spellbinding, evocative, enthralling, transportive, cinematic, and gripping friends who are in the stories. Yeah, it says in a stories, but you're in the stories. You're in this story, literally right now. I like what you said about failure. Our generation was never taught to deal. Yeah, we were punished relentlessly for every single failure, right? We could see on a percentage level the exact ratio of mistakes we made. And we were relentlessly reinforced to believe that the ratio of mistake you make is the exact value you have in society, financially, popularity, unfortunately. But it's not true. Escape this story, don't get stuck. The end was tough. Did the best I could. You did perfectly, dear friend. You're a part of the story. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, friends, for joining. I'll see you again tomorrow.